What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. Today's book review is a rare sighting of a Chandler Morrison book because I'm going to be just briefly reviewing and discussing Until the Sun. It was somewhat recently republished from being self-published to now it's under Death Heads Press. Good for you, Chandler. The Messed Up Book Club with Brian and Patrick and myself. We have now officially caught up with all of Chandler Morrison's books. This was the last one. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And this was really interesting. It was one of the first books. I've read short stories, but not a book in second person. And the short stories that I read sucked. So I opened the first page and I was like, oh my god, it's in second person. Shit. I don't know if I'm going to like it. It was actually not that bad, but it was jarring for like a little more over halfway. Like I got used to it by 65%. And maybe that's good for someone who has not liked second person ever, except now. I like it. I don't love it. I don't enjoy it, but I liked it. So that's why it's 4 out of 5 stars. Also, the content, the very body horror, splatterpunk always makes me hesitate to give any of Chandler's books 5 stars. Literally all of his books that I've read, and it's been many, they're all 4 stars. But he's still one of my favorite horror writers. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head, so we're gonna go with it. Now, we follow Casanova, it's his nickname, and he is a teenage boy where his parents were murdered by a serial killer. And then he shipped off to LA to spend time with, well, kind of close relatives. And then he befriends and does some other things with his cousin. Yes, I think you might know where I'm going with that. And things happen in LA, not good things, that then take him back to Ohio. Then more bad things happen. Trying to be very brief so I can actually do this book review and not get into trouble with the pearl clutchers, because you could really clutch your pearls with this book or any of Chandler's books. Honestly, this is an interesting take, kind of sorta, on the vampire, because he has his foster parents. He didn't do it. I'm gonna rephrase that. His foster parents are killed by 3 teenagers who think that they're vampires, and they run and are taken care of by this older man named Ambrosia, who is basically Satan, okay? He's Satan. If you read Chandler's other books, you would get it, but yes, Satan is just creating havoc in these 3 teenagers' lives who had messed up lives beforehand. Now he told them that they're vampires, and now Casanova is the 4th, and it doesn't particularly work out very well. As you can imagine, in this world, there is supernatural stuff going on because, like, hi, Satan's on Earth, but not vampires. So you can tell throughout the book that they're not vampires, and they have been lied to, and they're being groomed and manipulated by Satan, or what they think is an older man, but they don't care because their home lives to them were so atrocious that doesn't matter. We'll do whatever. And they definitely do whatever they want. Lots of murder. Lots of drinking of the blood and then throwing it up all over the place. And we are really just going through the motions. You really are Casanova, the whole second person point of view, which makes you a little dizzy. It made me dizzy, at least. But I thought it was an interesting artistic take, because where do you see second person? I can't think of it other than short stories. And those, like I said, weren't great. This book is a little over like 350 pages, and it worked. I wouldn't necessarily be picking up second person all the time, or like half the time, 10% of the time. But I trust Chandler at this point to give me a work of splatterpunk art that I went with it, and I'm glad that I did. And I kind of actually finally felt a little bad for Casanova. Usually, I don't feel bad at all for the main characters of Chandler's books, because most of them are psychopaths and sadistic and narcissistic. That's just what he writes. But for this one, he's not a psychopath. He's probably a sociopath. His actions aren't even that bad compared to Chandler's other books, which is amazing. And also the people in this book, he is like a damn angel. He really is. So he does, stick around and watch the murders happen, but he is also being groomed into thinking that he's a vampire and they're all vampires, and right, which a 15-year-old / 16-year-old should know. But it's like, yeah, you've had a bad experience. Many bad experiences with murder and serial killers, and then you go to the relatives in LA and you finally have your cousin that actually loves you in different ways, and then shit hits the fan there, and it's not your fault, but you feel like it's your fault, and everyone that you love there is now gone, and yeah, it's really complex, and I feel bad. I'm not saying that Casanova's good. He's just not as bad as everyone else in all of the Chandler Morrison books, which I was kind of surprised to see, but we do like to mix it up a little bit. How many times can you write a psychotic serial killer, predator, blah, blah? A number of times. But I like this different aspect of, you could kind of, sort of, keyword here, argue that he is way better than everyone in this novel, even though he goes along with shitty things. And I think that you would have to read Chandler's other books, not necessarily Dead Inside, but you would have to read Chandler's other books to fully understand Until the Sun, because there are quite a few people that pop up in this novel that are in, for example, Just to See Hell and Hate to Feel, which I think is really funny. Oh, and also Along the Path of Torment. Those three. You definitely would need to read Just to See Hell and Hate to Feel. And it's recommended to read Along the Path of Torment and Dead Inside, but those aren't kind of required. Their characters will pop up for a few pages and then they're gone, whereas the other two that I mentioned, they pop up a lot more and you wouldn't completely understand. Also, because Satan is really poignant in Just to See Hell. Duh, because it has hell in the title, but I'm just pointing that out just in case, right? You also see Derek from Hate to Feel in this book, that book. And Satan is also pretty-ish prominent in Hate to Feel. So I would say those two read first if you're interested, and then read Until the Sun. If you don't care about not knowing the small stuff in other books, then you can just go ahead and read Until the Sun off the bat. But I like that Chandler has created his own universe, and his other characters are in almost all of the other books. That just gives a more exciting read to me. I like when writers do that. It's really entertaining because I realized, for example, that Derek was in here helping Satan. I was like, oh my god, it's Derek. It's Derek. Oh my god. Oh, when is this supposed to be said? Is it after Hate to Feel, or is it during? I don't know, but I'm so interested to know. I couldn't figure it out, but it was still fun. I like that. And it's hard to have fun with splatterpunk novels because it's really damn graphic. But that's how I think Chandler gives a little shout out to fun and entertainment and lightheartedness by just dropping in random characters from his other books so you can kind of like fawn over them if you're a fan. If you don't like that, then forget everything I said. Thank you so much for watching my brief book review on Until the Sun by Chandler Morrison. I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!